Greetings, COM 705. This is Ben Frazier. Hope you're having a good morning. Sorry for the slow start I got this week. I had some problems with my computer. They're all fixed now, so everything should be up and going. You'll notice that I've added another article for you to read this week. You can find it in the content section. It doesn't have to do with theory particularly. It has more to do with the integration of faith and learning, but I thought it would be useful in this class to have an article on that area. It's a very brief article, like just 5 or 6 pages, and I only have one question on it in the discussion board. But read that article. It's an excellent article, and respond in that area if you can. Also have a couple questions in the discussion board that are for you, and then a place for you to attach your review, your critical book review. So we're about a third of the way through the class now. This is week 5, maybe not quite a third, but getting very close to it. I'm very pleased so far with the responses you have. EB and I will be getting together later this week and letting you know how you're doing, particularly if you're having trouble, if you're challenged in the reporting on to the answers and getting your reviews in. If that's the area that you're weak, we're going to let you know. About halfway through, I give you a grade for the first half, and then for the second in the area of classroom discussion, which includes the discussion board and the article reviews. Now, the thing that you need to begin to think about is your final paper. If you notice, this class is weighted heavily on that final paper. I expect all of you to do well in the class discussion. I think all of you should be able to keep up, get your discussion in. Some weeks they'll be stronger than others, and I understand that. But where the grades really are changed, and where you earn your A's and A minuses and B's and those kinds of things, are on your major paper. And so I want you to begin to be thinking about that. And of course, when you're thinking about that, you also need to think about your reading for that, which I would say your annotated bibliography, which is due later in the course, and then finally your paper, should be on the same topic. So it helps you get a start on that. I kind of set the class up so you begin to write and think and write about that paper early on. So that's sort of the process of where we're going in the class. I'm very pleased with the responses so far. Some very good interaction on your part, and so keep up the good work. Keep doing that. Now, of course, this week we're in Littlejohn and Foss, chapter 9 and 10, and particularly chapter 10 is one of my favorite areas of study. I came into interest in the field of communication because of the impact that new technology, particularly media technology, was having on our culture and on the way we behave and communicate with one another. And so you have some of the best people writing in there mentioned in chapter 10. You have, of course, McLuhan and Ong. You've probably bumped into Ong before in Dr. Keeler's class. Walter Ong. McLuhan, I have a question in the discussion board on him, and hopefully there'll be a good vibrant discussion on that. But then you have some other ones like agenda setting, which has been around since I was in graduate school, taking this class, using Littlejohn. Think how long that has been. See, my hair is white. It's been a long time since I've been taking studying communication theory, and Littlejohn is now in its 10th edition. So it was there, it was in the class when I was there. In fact, at the University of Washington, my chair, Brenda Dervin, who was also my theory teacher, she held the class much like I'm holding this class. The weighted towards that final paper, but having us read throughout and giving us some flexibility, the articles we read every week, but giving us a topic area by the chapters that are Littlejohn. So besides agenda setting, which was around 20, 30 years ago, around today, but it's in a different incarnation. It's in a different form. And so one of the things you need to understand when you look at some of these theories is how they've changed through time, because many of them have. I think Spiral of Silence is in there. Also cultivation theory with Gerbner, where the media cultivates a certain kind of culture and ideas within that culture. Excellent. Baudrillard, which is one of my favorites. I don't think they mention, Littlejohn mentions in there simulacra and simulation, but the whole idea that you can have a copy of something without an original. And you think about that, copy without an original. How does that happen? Well, it can happen. Things aren't just simulated in communication, but it happens much like Fantasyland is in Disneyland. You see Fantasyland, or even if you take Spock or someplace like that, well, there's no real, or even Star Wars. There's no real Star Wars. It comes from an imagination, and yet we see copies of Star Wars characters, people dressing up like that and that sort of thing. So you get these copies of something that comes from the imaginary world, and the use of technology and the use of media has redefined reality in many ways for us, and redefined how we interact with one another. Because when we interact so much with machines and we interact so much with media, we begin to take that behavior, because there's so much time doing that, and that communicative behavior, and interact with other people that way. And I think that's just fascinating, and so I like to study that kind of thing, and that's what took me into celebrity culture and studying that sort of thing in the entertainment education, how to harness the media for powerful effects within our world and within our culture and between cultures. So anyway, exciting week. I hope you get into the reading and into discussion. So glad you're with us. Like I said, Evie and I will be getting together later this week and talking about if any of you are having challenges or problems in there. I'll be reminding you to make sure you get it in. Within about 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to be knowing how you've done in the first half of the class in terms of the discussion board, as addressing the questions and writing your papers. I think that's all I have. Oh, but don't forget to look at the critical theories as well. A very important area, and they have some on media this week. I think you need to spend a little time. I think Bell Hooks is in there, which is worth noting. She's still alive and writing today, and there's several others, feminist theories, those kinds of things come right out of that critical school. So I think that's enough of an introduction for the reading and this week. Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you have a good week. God bless you, and I look forward to your discussion on discussion board. Particularly, don't forget to go to the content area of our class, which is now open, and in there's a brief article. You need that to answer one of the questions in the discussion board. God bless. Bye-bye.